Let's go.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everyone's having a good, beautiful Saturday evening. Today, I want to speak about Hollywood and Disney. Rituals for riches. Hollywood, whether you're acting, producing, writing screenplays, your talent is not enough for those who run Hollywood to get you a part in a play, part in a movie or sitcom. Your screenplay considered for production or funding for your venture in this particular, and I'll say it in quotes, industry. Whether you're a singer, dancer, musician, songwriter, producer, rapper. Greetings to Sister Stephanie Burke. It's not about your talent. Your talent is a commodity, all right. Even as a child, what you're asked to do will compromise your virtue, values, integrity, and sometimes your entire existence. The truth about Hollywood and Disney and the entertainment industry altogether is dark. The glamour, the glitz are all a part of the show. The good times, the so-called happiness that we see are all an act. Yet when we go inside of Hollywood and ask those who are involved, some of them are willing to tell us a dark, creepy, wicked reality of what is behind all the glamour and glitz of Hollyweird. Some couldn't take what was done to them, and they had to merely display their talent. Some are not here to tell about it because their lives were cut short. Some at a very young age. The crazy part is that a lot of the elite in the entertainment industry will thank God for their achievement when Satan is at the root of everything that they do. All the way to gospel music, singing about God, yet are living Satan and satanic. Don't think for a second that the same behavior and things are not in sports. Athletes had to do the same thing to go up the ladder to achieve greatness as an athlete. Yes, the titans, the physically strong, the ones who can knock you out with one punch, they have to endure the same treatment. All entertainment are under one nasty, filthy umbrella. This is why they have like the halftime shows. They were added to the Super Bowl, NBA finals, and all that. It's all entertainment. Even their lives are entertainment. Peace to my brother, Hurricane JW. Their very lives are entertainment, which is why they are talked into allowing cameras into their house. I know some of it's acting, but if you're going to act and if your very existence is an act, like when you go out, you see them dressed up, looking happy, that's an act too. Because what a lot of these entertainments endure are unspeakable. If we only knew what they endure. Now, I was close to getting into the industry, yet I didn't see anything. Yeah, I'm glad because I don't fit. I know I don't fit because I'm the type, if I see something, I'm going to say something about it. So I don't fit. And some are willing to do whatever it takes for that bag. Some are allowed in to a certain level, but they don't allow you to rise up to your full potential. In order to do that, you have to be in an office with someone who asks you to compromise your integrity and who you are, in particular as a man. I'm speaking about adults now, yet children are exploited and taken advantage of because some of them don't have someone around to speak for themselves. Their parents put them in the care of someone they shouldn't trust because this person lives a glamorous life. It doesn't mean that person is a good person because they live a glamorous life. And they put their children in the hands of these people to sort of mentor them, show them, the ropes in Hollywood. And your child end up at some party with a bunch of adults who they shouldn't be around and singing all kinds of things that they shouldn't see or shouldn't have seen. And some of these children actually are made to participate in these activities. And not only that, a lot of these things, these activities are recorded to compromise someone's integrity and to hold over the entertainer's head. And then they got you forever because if you say you're this and you end up being that, compromised, and not only that, a whole lot of alcohol and drugs are involved. People are given drugs to put them to sleep. And it's actually, I'm going to say it like this for the sake of staying in quote unquote community guidelines. Someone's virtual is compromised when they take a drug and are put to sleep. Their integrity and what they stand for and their virtue and their very existence are compromised while they're sedated by something someone put in a drink. And this is done all under the guise of entertainment. Now, I have a video presentation that I'm going to present in a minute. We have to be mindful, especially if someone have the aspiration of being an entertainer. When someone shut you in the office and ask you how successful you want to be, and then this person is unclothed while they asking you that. You have some who's not going to make it in that industry. And then you have someone that will compromise and do anything to get in that industry, to get that part, to be famous. And they ask you how famous you want to be or how successful you want to be based on what you're willing to do. Other than what your artful craft is. That's wicked, and it should be outlawed. And this is done to children. I don't know if they asked the children that, but I'm certain they probably asked the parents that. And these parents will leave their children with these demons, which is outright crazy. I'm going to share my screen and get into this video presentation. Turn this off first. Now, get into this.
There's a thing that happens in that town, in that area, where the people that think outside of the norm say it in like whispered, hushed tones. Mm-hmm. There's a certain ideology that's attached to that city, and it's not logical. It's a kooky, wacky, completely insulated left-wing view of the world, and they enforce it with an iron fist. And if you're not on that team, you don't get booked for things. You don't get picked for things. If you're someone who has conservative leanings, or you talk about, there's projects you're never going to get. You're never going to be involved with. People will they'll malign you, and without knowing you at all, be openly prejudiced about you. And so no one does it. So everyone who goes over there, who's just like desperately trying to make it, they're desperately trying to get in movies, they're desperately trying to get a recording deal, whatever it is, they're desperately trying to do. Mm-hmm. The last thing they want to do is do something and talk about something that's going to politically get them at odds with the people that run the studios. Mm-hmm. So no one does. Everybody just follows the same sort of wacky ideology that these people take from the universe.
Salute to my brother Black Wild Indian. Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for Sister Stephanie Burke for tapping in, and my brother Hurricane JW. Thank you for joining me.
Universities, they go straight into working as a PA and straight into working for executives and producers, and all of those people are indoctrinated. They're all in this wild ass cult.
Thank you to my wife for tapping in. I know she's watching, so thank you to my lovely wife for tapping in.
Of weirdness. And then you have people that move there to try to make it. And these people are just always going on auditions. So they're always like, please choose me, please choose me. And no, they didn't choose me. And so you're trying to be friends with the people who choose people. You're trying to get them into parties, trying to introduce them to other people. You're trying to be around other famous people.
Getting anxiety.
So this person's been chosen. I got to be around the chosen person. We're going to go to the chosen person's party. Maybe we can get chosen. And so you get this like overwhelming anxiety that fills the fucking city.
Yeah.
And then now you have TikTokers and influencers and all these people that are just trying to do anything to get famous.
Yeah.
And that the reality stars and all that started it all off, and the fucking Real Housewives and all that.
You are a lot safer as an influencer on social media than you are in Hollywood, because a lot of us can do this in the comfort of our own home and in the safety of our own home. And if you're doing your own thing on TikTok or any social media, you don't have any handlers. So it's better to just put in the work as an entertainer, whatever it is, to do it on your own, because the industry is not about your talent. They will exploit your talent, yet they will pass you around from executive to executive, seeking what they can devour. I'll say it like that.
Wacky shit. You get away from that. You're like, oh, there's real people out there. There's real people. That's a storm of anxiety. Just a hurricane of confusion and Zoloft and wah! And everyone's losing their mind, and everyone's in therapy, and everyone's nuts, and everyone's trans. It's out of touch.
Yeah.
It's just a crazed cult.
Yeah. It's like, you start out as a stand-up comedian and you are trying to, poke holes in the absurdity of the world, and you're saying things that are not being said on stage. And then, as you all of a sudden get brought into, and I'm sort of saying the every stand-up comedian, every outlier, every person that's doing something different, a punk rocker, a skateboarder. My goofy show was so out there when I was making it, and I was rebelling against, in Canada, in my little public access show. I was kind of trying to rebel against what obviously seems like a formulaic mainstream way of thinking to create art, right? And then you move to Los Angeles because, the show got on MTV. I ended up moving to Los Angeles. Now I'm talking about myself now.
Trans.
All of a sudden being asked to go on, the show, the Tonight Show, Saturday Night Live, and you're on these shows. And, I was sort of a bit of a naive, moron, basically, like in purposefully so. I would go on these shows, try to go nuts, right, and try to do something crazy, and just try to sort of almost disrupt the whole format of it, right, in those first couple of years as a naive person who didn't understand how Hollywood worked. And I went on. I had a similar thing to our last appearance here on Jay Leno. I went on Jay Leno when I had a film coming out. I went on Jay Leno, and I came up with this bit. Let me roll the bar. They had remember they had the bar cart, the J bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'll roll it out on stage during the show, and then I'll do a shot of Jaeger with Jay. Jay doesn't. This is a crazy story. I probably told you this before, but I do a shot of Jaeger with Jay, and Jay doesn't drink, so he said, "Okay, well, I'll throw it over my shoulder." Right. So we go there, and I'm with my buddy who's, as a buddy who like pushes you further into the darkness, right? Like, you got a bad idea and he pushes you further and makes it even worse.
Use the force.
Yeah. So we're in the green room getting ready. I'm in the green room with my buddy getting ready to go on the show. And he goes, do a shot now before you go on. I'm like, well, okay. So I do a shot now before I go on, right? Get ready to go on. The bit's all approved with the Tonight Show. It's a gag. They know I'm doing real Jaeger, right? But it wasn't planned that I would do a shot before I go on. He goes, do another shot before you go on.
2 shots.
2 shots. Do another one. So now I walk out. I'm 3 shots in before the show even starts.
Oh, boy. You're hammered.
Well,
pretty quickly.
Then I got out there and I did a shot, and the audience goes crazy and cheers, right? And so then I do another shot, and so I end up doing way too many shots, and it kind of ended up very similarly to our last conversation here, and it was actually pretty hilarious. It was one of those things where, it did get out of control. The next day, there was the New York Post. It had my picture and it said "dead drunk." It was just like one of those. And Jay called me at home the next day. Are you okay, man? You really kind of went. But then then that was sort of the beginning of me realizing, you can't.
Why Tom Green went on Leno and deliberately got drunk.
Yeah, and in hindsight, I go, well, that was kind of the outrageous kind of young version of me that I was doing on the show that made perfect sense to do that for a gag. But then, you know, the naive kid in me didn't understand, well, you know, a lot of people in Hollywood did not understand that and then got mad. And the movie
People
studio
got mad at you?
Well, like the movie studio, I was on promoting a movie, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want you to go any more talk shows for the movie." I'm like, I was like, well, "What?" It was a joke. It was a joke, and they're not interpreting it as a joke. They're interpreting it as me being kind of out of control. Which, yeah, exactly. But it was a manufactured out of control. I was out of control, but it was planned. It was planned confusion, right? So, but that kind of subtlety didn't really kind of pass the smell test. So then you start to go, oh, geez, I better tone it down a little bit. You know, better tone it down a little bit because this, and you sort of end up falling into that feeling where all of a sudden you're, like you said, going to another.
I'm going to move on from this video and go on to sports, where Ryan Garcia, a very talented fighter, exposes satanic rituals in Hollywood. Again, it's not only performing arts, it's also in sports.
I'm not going to lie, guys. This is getting stranger and stranger. Just a couple days ago, I posted a video compiling 2 interviews on the Joe Rogan Experience, Kid Rock and Cat Williams, who were both exposing the satanic rituals that were happening in Hollywood. Kid Rock was specifically talking about this thing called Bohemian Grove, and it blew up. It's like one of the biggest topics on the internet right now. And you have people in the entertainment industry talking about this publicly, but it's not stopping with them. Just a couple of days later, professional boxer Ryan Garcia was caught on a hot mic. Literally, I mean, he said it publicly on X.com with Andrew Tate, talking about the same thing. I want to share with you what he said after what he said, because you see, like, when you see the string of the story together, it's very bizarre. And it makes you wonder what's really happening in the world right now. And then ultimately, I want you to stick around to the end, because this is going to blow your mind. And it's time that you and I start making decisions about what we're going to do in order to make sure that we don't get taken advantage of by this darkness that's covering the earth right now. So be warned, like the last video I did had even more, or had some explicit language. This one's got even more. So if you got kids in the room, please be aware of that. There's too much of it for me to bleep out, but I want you to listen to what Ryan has to say, and then I'm gonna string some things together, which are gonna blow your mind.
Bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. They held me down and they made me watch little kids get. I don't give a fuck anymore. They fucking took me to the fucking woods, bro, and they fucking tied. I'm not fucking joking, bro. I have fucking proof, bro. I don't give a fuck. Bro, I fucking will show you every fucking video you could ever fucking believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog. I absolutely don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck, bro. They me. I was 2 years old. They yes, I fucking lost it. They're little kids.
He doesn't want to take us all, so let's go. Come on, man. He doesn't want to take us. Come on.
Fuck this guy, bro. Fuck this dude, dude.
Who?
Bro,
You know
you know the higher elites, bro. You already know who they are, bro.
You know the path you're going down is dangerous, my friend.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a.
All right, so Ryan is on this Twitter space, or this X space, with Andrew Tate, and is talking about these things that he allegedly saw in the woods. He said that he was tied down. He was forced to watch kids get blank for these rituals. He says he has proof of it. I haven't seen any proof on the internet of it. The clip you see above is from Alex Jones. He did an expose of this, like, I think a few decades ago, which I highlighted in my last video. But Andrew Tate is saying something very interesting. And Andrew Tate, you know, highly, like, super famous figure, highly controversial figure. And just for the things that he said in the past, but a guy who has clearly had a target on his back, especially from the mainstream media over the past handful of months, at the very least, is telling Ryan, you're going down a dangerous path. Like, is he going down a dangerous path because he's making this stuff up, or is he going down a dangerous path because he's exposing something that other people, these elites, don't want him to expose? Let's keep watching.
Fuck, they can't touch me. I'm a god.
I care about you a lot, and I can assure you from my own personal experience that they can touch you. Well, bro, my door gets kicked in if I say what I'm thinking. You know there's going to be people who believe you're just saying this because you've, I don't know, had a mental breakdown or taken drugs and you're repeating some of the things you said on the internet.
He did say, I am a god.
But that's the first thing that they say when you start trying to expose what's going on in Hollywood and entertainment altogether. They say that you have lost it, you're going crazy. When Martin was on in California and LA screaming they're trying to kill me, he was taken to a hospital and said he was going crazy. And he don't even look like himself today. I enjoyed the new Bad Boys movie. It was dope, but it doesn't even look like the same Martin that we knew from the Martin show. I know people age and everything, but they did something to that brother that caused him to be the way he is now. Just gonna say it like that.
God, which later he says he believes in Jesus, which he might, but if you're claiming that you're a god, you I don't know what Bible you're reading.
The same Bible everybody else reads. You see, this dude don't have no understanding because he say he's a god. That means that he's not reading the Bible. Come on, stop it.
Because there's only one God. But anywho, yeah, it sounds erratic. It sounds like the amount he's cursing, it's like he's in this hyperventilated state, right? Hyper emotional state. Yet Andrew, calm and collected, is saying, if I were to say what I'm thinking right now, I would have my door kicked in. And he probably wouldn't be lying because he's had his door kicked in multiple times in the past year or so.
You've, I don't know, had a mental breakdown or taken drugs and you're repeating some of the things you said on the internet.
Of course they're going to want that. And I have all the information possible. The right time, I'm going to release all of it. But they're already calling me to tell me to stop. I don't give a fuck, dude. They can't stop me because they listen to the devil. I listen to God. God gave me authority. It's over for everybody, bro.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to expose everybody.
They will actually kill this man for this. And all of a sudden now, after all this, they're saying that he's using performance enhancement drugs during his matching, forcing him into retirement. How ironic is that?
Brian, to be honest with you, I believe that she's got your best interest at heart.
Okay, I get that, but I don't care.
So I think it's like his girlfriend or his friend in the background who's like, you got to chill out with this. And he's like, no, I'm exposing this.
I'm trying to really stop every fucking devil worshiping bitch.
Just imagine if he was using performance enhancement drugs and he was getting away with it for a whole bunch of, fights and everything. All this time he was using performance enhancement drugs and he was knocking people out, winning matches, becoming champion of the world, one of the greatest in his weight class. Now, after all this, they're saying they're going to reveal that he's been using performance enhancement drugs, blowing his spot up, and now he's talking about retirement. Now, I've always said this. I've been saying this for years. They would do the dirt with you to get the dirt on you. They know what he was doing because they probably sanctioned it. They probably, a lot of time they have network champions and they give them performance enhancement drugs so they can be strong and endure punishment and just keep coming. No matter if they get hit, they still, rocking in the fight. See, this is what all of entertainment does. They'll do the dirt with you to get the dirt on you.
Insane. Wow. Well,
now I'm going to move on from this. I'm going to go to Corey Feldman and Corey Haim discuss their abuse. These are two famous young actors. One ended up dying early in his career. They're going to expose satanic rituals in Hollywood. And
I can
abuse.
destroy you right now, and you know it.
Corey, I'm sitting
And
right here.
I don't need to
Go
do
ahead.
that. I don't have to do that.
Corey, I'd love to see you even attempt to do something like that.
Are you kidding me?
Do I look like I'm kidding you right
You're
now?
an easy target, bro.
I'm right here. Let's do this. I'm right here. Hit me with the hardest bull you got.
Now, why would I want to try and hurt you?
Corey, you opening up to the world about me having a knife in my pocket. And the reason I wear this, man, is like to cover up the scars I have. Because like I used to cut into myself because it's a way to feel. I hear. And like mentioning that, you just rip the envelope, man. I'll go you one better. You let me get around in my life, man. Raped, so to speak. When I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now, by the guy you still hang out with, and tell me I'm 14 and a half, take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it. Besides being his best friend. What'd you do? What'd you do? Tell us what you did, man.
I believe
Lines of cocaine with me. God bless you.
You want to talk about the truth? Okay, well, then let's talk about the truth. I was being molested at the same time by somebody else. What'd you do? What'd you do?
Talk to you about it.
You talked to me about it?
Yeah, sure. You told me while I was sleeping, this happened, this happened. I'm like, dude,
Right.
you weren't sleeping? Yeah, I was sleeping. Tried to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Were you sleeping?
I was awake, Corey. I was
Okay.
very aware of what's going on with me. So who might take this to go?
Okay.
Would be the probably smartest thing to do.
You know what?
Corey,
You want to put all that shit on the table? You want about all
just
that?
put you in the ground, kid.
Okay.
Really, it's not good. Me around you is detrimental for my health, man. You're really, 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 really up in your head, kid. And I really don't want to be your friend anymore. I can't.
More of Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. Corey Haim ended up, his life was cut short. Very young. Played in some good movies. Very talented.
Well, actor Corey Feldman was a sensation as a child star. He lived the Hollywood life, befriending major celebrities like Michael Jackson and others. Now as an adult and with headlines every day about sexual harassment in Hollywood, Feldman says he feels compelled to repeat his long-held claims about what happened to him as a child actor. And he says what happened
Why are they doing this?
to other child actors like him.
We have the ability to let our voices be heard and break the dam of silence.
Corey Feldman once again opening up about the dark side of the spotlight. In a new YouTube video, the former child star vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles who he claims have abused thousands of children.
I can name 6 names. One of them who's still very powerful today.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
I propose to do this by making a film that'll be the most honest and true depiction of child abuse ever portrayed, by telling my own story in a very real way.
We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way.
A 1990s teenage heartthrob, Feldman became best known for his roles in movies like The Goonies, The Lost Boys, and Stand By Me.
Keep me on TV. Sure, we'll be heroes.
But along with the fame, Feldman says he learned firsthand about Hollywood's big secret, one he's tried to tell for years without naming names.
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. And they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business. And children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff.
Humiliation. I know, I've been through it. But that's all over now.
Feldman has long claimed that as young actors, he and fellow child star the late Corey Haim were molested by older men in the entertainment industry. Allegations he also wrote about in his 2013 memoir, Choreography.
I've been living in fear and been living with this my entire life.
But this morning, Feldman's latest proclamation drawing criticism from Haim's mother, Judy, who tells NBC News she wants her son's name left out of it, saying, quote, "If he finally decides to release names and tell the world who they are for the sake of more victims, I will be 100% behind him. But if he's waiting to release the names in the movie, I don't support that. He doesn't need $10 million to do it." We're back now with actor and musician Corey Feldman. Corey is vowing to expose a ring of Hollywood pedophiles through a film he would like to fund to the tune of $10 million. Corey, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Megan, for having me.
I don't think anybody today is doubting that you were, in fact, a victim of pedophilia. The questioning has been about why wouldn't you just come out and name names if you believe there are active pedophiles hurting little boys right now.
Absolutely.
In Hollywood.
And believe me, I would love the pain to stop today. This is about creating a cycle of awareness. This is about opening people's eyes and minds to the fact that this is a real problem, that it really exists. Unfortunately, I have tried time and time again through the years to get this story out, to get the points across, to get the names out.
We've seen you try. We have spoken about this
Absolutely.
For years.
Over and over.
But what
And
about the names? Have you ever named names?
I have. In 1993, I told the Santa Barbara Police Department when they came to interrogate me about Michael Jackson, trying to convince me literally that my friend was a pedophile. And I told them, no, he's not. I said, in fact, if you want to know what a pedophile is like, I can tell you very specifically because I've been molested. And they said, oh, really? By who? I said, well, I can give you the names. Here they are. And they said, okay, well, unfortunately, that's not our area. That's outside of our community, our jurisdiction.
Did you ever follow up in the right
law.
jurisdiction in
I
Los
didn't,
Angeles?
because let me tell you something. When you're a kid, when you're an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, you try telling the police, which is a very big thing to do. And especially when it wasn't even my situation, I was just answering for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I found the courage to even throw it in there and hopefully get some support, and then they were like, sorry, they just shut it down like it didn't matter. And this was when it was still within the statute of limitation.
That's right.
It was within my 10 years, because in California, we're only allowed 10 years to report these crimes. And if you're a kid and this happens to you at 12, 13, 14 years old, that means you have until you're 22, 23. Well, how many people by 22, 23 are self-aware enough to know that they can come forward and they won't be scolded, they won't be shamed? I did, and I was shamed.
Want to just tell the audience that we did reach out to the Santa Barbara Police Department.
I think it shouldn't be a statute of limitation for any type of abuse like that, especially sexually abuse. It should not be a statute of limitation. It should be the same as murder. It stay murder and it stay sexual abuse. They shouldn't have a statute of limitation, because if it's done as a child and that child gets the courage later on in life to come out to bring that person who did that to them to justice, it should be done and it should be allowed.
They did not get back to us.
Of course.
We've seen right now a stream of
Peace to my good brother, Bronze Flat Power God. Thanks for tapping in, good brother.
victims coming forward, accusers.
Thank God.
Is the better word, because these cases haven't been adjudicated. But there are a stream of accusers come forward in Harvey Weinstein and other cases. They do name names, even though they may be outside of the statute and so on, because they want to out the person as a harasser.
Yes and no.
Why not?
Many of them are within the statute, and many of the people in the Harvey Weinstein case, don't forget, got some kind of upside. I support these women that are coming forward, but at the same time, a lot of them took a deal to keep their mouths shut. They took a deal to go along with these forward advances so that they could help their careers. We never had that.
I don't think you're characterizing what they did correctly at all, with respect. I think they took a deal because they felt helpless. They didn't know what to do. And this is the only measure of justice they felt they could get.
I understand, but
And some of these women took a deal, not necessarily what Corey is talking about. They took a deal, and some of these same women went after and testified against the brothers who were accused of pedophilia and sexual abuse, but they protected somebody like a Harvey Weinstein, a Les Moonves, and Kevin Spacey. They protected them, but went after all the brothers, because some of these women were sisters and some of them were white women, but they protected the white men and they testified against the black man. And I think if this happened to these women, regardless of what their ethnicity is, they all, I'm not going to say what I would do to them, but at least they belong in prison.
But I wasn't awarded that opportunity. Neither was my partner. We never were given an opportunity to possibly get an upside for our victimization. We were
right now, the
abused.
upside is protecting other little boys
We were
right now.
abused. Correct. Absolutely. And the soonest that I can have protection, I don't have to wait until the film is done. Nobody says that I have to wait till the film is done. But the most important thing right now is that I have security. Somebody tried to kill me the other day. I've been arrested. This is no joke. I am fearing for my life.
Someone tried to kill you?
Yes.
What happened?
Yes. I had 2 trucks come speeding at me on the highway at the same time. Okay, I was with 6 other people. I have many witnesses to this. Now, I'm not saying they were trying to kill Corey Feldman, but they were definitely trying to kill a group of people walking across the street.
But wouldn't you be more safe if you named the perpetrator right now and therefore immobilized him from coming after you?
If that was the case, if the law protected me, I would do it in a second. But how do I protect myself when they're going to spin it? They're going to call me a druggie. They're going to call me this. They're going to call me that. They're going to diminish my worth.
That's what they do. They'll say that he's on drugs. They say he's going crazy. That's the most things they do, the most narratives that they use is he's on drugs, he's crazy, he's going out of his mind. And then when he's dead, they'll say he finally committed suicide or overdose on drugs. The same narrative they've used on every celebrity that they didn't want around anymore.
And then they're going to come after me with a legal team. If I have no money to represent myself, if I have no money to defend myself.
Gloria Allred has been out there saying she'll represent victims of these types.
To represent me.
But there are lawyers who would handle a case where a child had been molested pro bono.
I would love to see it.
Which means free.
Hey, people are watching right now. They're welcome to offer their support.
Truth is an absolute defense to any defamation case, and every victim needs to know this. Truth is an absolute defense to any defamation case, which means if you are telling the truth, you have nothing to worry about. Now, there's always a small risk that you might not be believed.
My campaign is called the Truth Campaign. All I want is for people to open their eyes and see the light. That's it. This is about good versus evil. I see nobody in Hollywood, not one person since I've started this campaign has stood up and said, I was there, I saw it, I know that he's telling the truth. Not one person. How about pound hashtag I stand with Corey?
They're not going to do that because it's going to mess their bag up. Anybody seen standing with a victim, it's a shame. Anybody seen standing with a victim is going to be ostracized. It will never work, as they say, in this city again.
How about these people coming forward? Because there's thousands of kids out there that grew up with me and saw the same things that I saw.
Let me ask you this.
Now, hold on,
let
me finish.
But I just want to ask
Can
quickly.
I just finish, please? It's called the Truth Campaign for a reason. If you go to Indiegogo and you visit my site, you will understand. I will tell the truth. I will get on a lie detector test right now.
I know.
I'll put myself out there.
But here's
right
my
now.
question to you.
I'll give the names. I don't
Are
care.
the names that, how many are there that you know of?
I know of 6.
Are they working in Hollywood right now?
Yes.
Are they continue to direct movies and write
them.
movies?
I'm not saying, okay, this is where it gets grossly disproportionated. I never once said that they're all famous VPs, they're all executives. It's not like that. These are lower level guys.
Do they have access to children?
Yes.
Corey.
And these are lower level guys. Now, one of them I've already named. The one that I know that has access to children right now, I already named. It's in my book, and they didn't make me change it because he had already been arrested for pedophilia. So I've mentioned that name. It's out there. The name is Marty Weiss. Everybody knows it. It's in my book. Okay. There's other names that I've told these names to the police. I've told the names to investigative reporters. Nobody's ever put it out there. They cover it up. They protect it. In fact, I know of a friend of mine that actually went and spoke to a reporter and gave all the information. And they were, the day before I launched my campaign, they were supposed to put out a story in the Inquirer. And they came to me for a comment. And I said, no comment. Let them tell their story.
But if you've named the one, why not name the others?
Because, okay, the person that did it, all I can speak of is the things that happened to me directly, okay? I can't speak for other people's experiences. So in other words, what happened to Corey Haim, he told me the story. It's not my place to go out and name the name of his abuser because it didn't happen to me.
But you seem to be saying if you get the $10 million and make the movie, you will do that.
I still can't say what I didn't see. I can only say what I saw. I was abused by two different people.
Who's the second one?
The second one ran a child's club in Hollywood.
So he's not directing films right now, but
he's not directing
what's
films.
a child's
I just
club?
found out that he's working for the LA Dodgers.
He's working for the LA Dodgers. Do you want to just tell us who it is, since now you're going to have a thousand stories trying to run down the person with that history?
Okay, I can't do that right now until I have legal protection. You understand that. Once I have legal protection, I'm happy to do it all.
Corey Feldman, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there. And
we're going to go to the tragic life of Corey Haim. Very talented young actor.
Corey Haim, star of such 80s films as The Lost Boys, battled addiction and the aftermath of child stardom for the better part of his life, which was sadly cut short in 2010. This is the tragic story.
A lot of these actors, they'll use the narrative without saying everything. They'll say the effect and not mention the cause. Now, they say he was doing drugs, abusing drugs and addicted to drugs, but they never said that, okay, he was addicted to drugs because he was trying to take away the pain that he was in and enduring by the use of drugs and with the use of drugs. But they don't want to mention why the young man was doing what he was doing. A lot of these young actors, like you just mentioned Dana Plato from Different Strokes, the same thing with her and other actors and actresses who was outright, just straight up abused by those in Hollywood. And some of them never be the same. You look at some of them, they don't even look the same. That innocence in their eyes is gone, and they just look like they don't want to be here.
Story of Corey Haim. Corey Ian Haim was born to Judy and Bernie Haim on December 23rd, 1971 in Toronto, Ontario. His family was from a modest background, and as a boy, Corey was shy and mostly kept to himself. Acting lessons were a way for the reticent Haim to open up a little more and feel more confident around others. As Haim tried to figure out where his interests lay, becoming involved with several activities, including acting and sports, his parents went through a divorce. Seeing his parents' divorce was extremely difficult for Haim. What became obvious later was the fact that Haim's childhood was made more complicated by his status as a child actor. That meant he would face a number of traumatic incidents that shaped his future. Corey Haim wasn't keen on joining the acting industry. He was more intrigued by hockey than acting and wanted to pursue the sport professionally. However, when he witnessed his older sister trying her luck in auditions, he figured it wouldn't hurt to attempt acting himself. He quickly became a hit. Haim was undeniably charming in front of the camera, doing commercials when he was only 10 years old. Haim got his first major break on The Edison Twins, which was on the air from 1982 to 1986. The children's show revolved around child prodigies who embarked on adventures together, using science to overcome various challenges. The show would prove to be a launching pad for Haim, catapulting him to Hollywood superstardom. Haim's debut film, the thriller Firstborn, came to him when he was just 13 years old. However, things got off to a rough start when actor Peter Weller didn't react well to Haim praising him. Weller slammed the boy against a wall, and the two were separated only after 3 crew members stepped in to intervene. For Haim, this unexpected incident was very scary, and it took him some time to get over it. Weller did later apologize for what happened and said he was too caught up in method acting. Firstborn failed to impress audiences despite the fact that it had 2 major stars in the making, Sarah Jessica Parker and Robert Downey Jr. Nonetheless, Haim got back on his feet after the movie and continued to pursue acting, building his portfolio and working on several projects, including the 1985 comedy Murphy's Romance, where he worked with Sally Field. Haim had some minor roles in films like Secret Admirer before he took on a particularly complicated part, as well as his first leading role, when he portrayed a paraplegic boy in Silver Bullet. He also got noticed for his work in a made-for-TV film called A Time to Live. For the latter, he won widespread appreciation and a Young Artist of the Year award. In 1986, all this momentum culminated in Lucas, where he earned praise from critics and also won over young cinema goers with his acting. Chicago Sun-Times movie critic Roger Ebert wrote, "Haim does not give one of those cute little boy performances that get on your nerves. He creates one of the most three-dimensional, complicated, interesting characters of any age in any recent movie." Ebert added that if the young Haim could live up to the potential he had already displayed, he'd get far in his acting career and wouldn't fade from public memory. Tragically, though, Lucas would turn out to be a defining experience for Haim for all the wrong reasons. In 2008, Haim revealed on an episode of his reality TV show The Two Coreys that he had been abused when he was 14. It was later alleged by both his mother and his friend and frequent co-star Corey Feldman that he was abused on the set of Lucas. Haim's mother told People that he kept the abuse secret for so long because he didn't want to be blamed for it. He said, "Mom, somebody hurt me. I don't need to hurt them back. I need to take this to my grave." Haim's mother later lamented the fact that her son became a part of showbiz too early. She implied that if he hadn't been an actor, he would have had a regular childhood, telling People, "Corey would have been in school in Toronto with his friends, playing hockey like he loved. It's not a good idea to put these young kids in these movies in Hollywood. Do it in the summertime. Let them go to school. Don't go to Hollywood." Despite the personal trauma, Haim continued moving forward with his career. Lucas was followed by one of his most important films, The Lost Boys, which earned him more love from audiences, even though critics weren't too impressed.
How are those maggots? Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
This was also the film that saw Corey Feldman and Haim team up together. The pairing was enough of a hit for them to later be known as the Two Coreys. Throughout their careers, Feldman and Haim would ultimately collaborate on 10 films as well as a reality show together. As with many child stars, things became more difficult professionally for Corey Haim when he became an adult. The 1990s were a bad time for the actor, who struggled to stay relevant while also battling drug addiction. Haim's journey with substance abuse was a long one. He was said to have first tried drugs as well as booze when he was filming Lucas, and eventually struggled to control his addiction as he experimented with several kinds of drugs. During the 90s, he worked on a video game called Double Switch, among other smaller projects, but nothing seemed to help.
Maybe next time, sucker.
Haim was forced to declare bankruptcy in 1997. As the 2000s hit, the actor tried to rebuild his life and kick his drug habit. Unfortunately, he got hooked on prescription drugs. As Haim once explained, "I started on the downers, which were a hell of a lot better than the uppers because I was a nervous wreck. But one led to two led to four led to 8, until at the end
Indeed, Brother Hurricane JW, Lost Boys is a classic. That's a classic. In particular, that Stay Gold. I love that song that Stevie did at the end of the song, Stay Gold.
it was about 85 a day. The doctors could not believe I was taking that much. It's not like Corey Haim didn't try to seriously deal with his addiction issues. He worked hard on getting clean, visiting rehab, and weaning himself off drugs. Sadly, he kept relapsing, caught up in a vicious cycle. He even made a film about himself titled Corey Haim, Me, Myself, and I in 1989. The actor was dealing with rumors about his addiction to drugs and wanted to reach out to his fans and talk about it all. At the time of the film's release, Haim had this to say to his worried fans: 10 years from now, I'm hopefully going to be in Tahiti or something, kicking back, like in my huge mansion. If everything goes right, it's all up to me. Sadly, Haim was constantly struggling, repeatedly going back to rehab. His addiction to prescription drugs caused him to put on a lot of weight, and he allegedly also suffered a stroke. Haim's mother tried to get her son back on track by asking him to move to Toronto and stay away from Hollywood. In 2004, a song called Whatever Happened to Corey Haim was released by The Thrills. Even though it wasn't direct...
Yeah, my bad. That was the movie that he played in that I like. I think it was The Outsiders with Stay Gold. I stand corrected. We over here like, to say everything right and exact. And if I ponder it and I get the correct answer, I always come back with the correct answer. We want everything over here, our information, to be right and exact. Peace to my brother Voodoo Child. Thanks for tapping in. Peace to my good brother Kyrie from the Enemy's Public. My physical brother. Salute to you. Thanks for tapping in.
Directly connected to the actor, it got Haim's attention, and he said in response, quote, "I'm clean, sober, humble, and happy." According to Corey Feldman, he and Haim weren't treated well by others in the industry. Feldman said that the publicity in relation to their drug use was just an excuse to get them out of the limelight. In his later years, Corey Haim was alone a lot. Feldman had stopped speaking to Haim at that point because of the actor's issues with addiction. An unfortunate incident that involved Haim showing up to a set under the influence made Feldman conclude that it wasn't wise to have the actor interacting with his family. For his part, Haim shot back, saying in 2008, "I will always love Corey Feldman, but I lost 105% respect for him and his wife." In 2010, a neighbor told CNN that while Haim was perhaps looking healthier, he seemed to be lonesome. He said he occasionally spotted the actor in public, looking for some kind of companionship or friends. Corey Haim didn't have great luck when it came to romantic relationships either. One of his exes, actress Alyssa Milano, once said that she tried to support him and get him the help he needed, to no avail. Corey Haim, despite achieving success as an actor early in his career, didn't have a lot of money at the end of his life. According to E! Online, the actor's drug habit left him with little money.
It doesn't matter who you are or what your ethnicity is. These wicked beings, they break their tools when they're done with them. He was a childhood actor, and a lot of creepy, unspeakable things were done to him, and he was just thrown away after they was finished with him. That's what they do. We watch these people as they work their craft, and a lot of us, we love them, we support them, yet they're not supported and loved by those who handle them, those who put them out there. The glamour and glitz, the world is a stage to these entertainers. You see them, they may look happy, but 9 times out of 10, that's an act.
When Haim filed for bankruptcy in 1997, he only had a few assets he could claim, namely his BMW, $100 in cash, and royalties that were worth somewhere around $7,500. That's definitely not enough money to ensure any sort
Respect, greetings to Sister Sharon Walker. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate it.
of financial security. In 2010, Haim had been going through such tough times that his funeral was taken care of by a celebrity memorabilia organization that paid for the expenses. Even though Haim had tried to save his failing career, he simply hadn't been able to salvage his finances and get back on his feet. In 2001, he even attempted to make some money by auctioning his hair and teeth on eBay. eBay took down Haim's auctions because they violated the website's policies that prohibit people from selling body parts. Corey Haim battled drug addiction for the better part of his life, and he attempted suicide via drugs on more than one occasion. Corey Feldman admitted that his old friend tried to intentionally overdose multiple times, telling an interviewer, "Corey made a lot of mistakes. He always tried to be the best person he could." Feldman also described an incident in which he found his friend foaming at the mouth due to an overdose. Feldman saved Haim by pouring charcoal into his mouth.
We all are aware of the fact that Corey Haim has had a long and detailed drug history and battled addiction for many, many years.
Before he died, Corey Haim was unwell and suffering from a bout of flu. He was living with his mom. When he passed away, speculation was rife, and there were rumors about suicide or a drug overdose, both of which were debunked later. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800.
Salute to my good brother, the Smokers Lounge, Chris Cypher. Thanks for tapping in, good brother.
273-TALK, 1-800-273-8255. Corey Haim's sudden death took many by surprise. The actor passed away in 2010, leaving many distraught. As per CNN, Haim's mother called paramedics to their apartment during the early hours of March 10th after Haim started to feel dizzy and later became unresponsive. No illegal drugs were found at Haim's home, but there were a few prescription medicines. Corey Feldman spoke about the moment he learned of his friend's passing. saying tears immediately began streaming down his face.
This is a man who was pushing forward and more than anything in the world wanted to be there for his mother.
He added that it was important for everyone to learn from what happened to his old friend, telling an interviewer, "We must all take this as a lesson in how we treat the people we share this world with while they are still here to make a difference. I hope the art Corey has left behind will be remembered as the passion of that for which he truly."
I hope I lived to see the day that a whole bunch of Hollywood heads roll for what they do to children and people in Hollywood. The exploitation, the abuse, the sexual abuse. I hope I live to see the day a whole bunch of heads roll because of this.
Truly lived. Later, it was revealed that the actor had died of pneumonia and other natural causes. He did not overdose. Haim, for his part, had been determined for a long time. A few years before his passing, Haim said that he wanted people to remember him and learn from him wherever they mentioned comebacks.
This is naming names of who abused this young man, this young actor, Corey Haim. At the time, he was a young actor. A very famous actor.
Charlie Sheen has just found himself on the list of Hollywood stars accused of rape. The reports come from
Are they doing this because I'm
the National Enquirer, and they claim Sheen is finally being unmasked after multiple sources stepped forward to confirm that the HIV-infected actor raped child star Corey Haim on the set of Lucas in 1986. According to the story, Sheen, then 19, convinced Corey, then 13, to have sex during the production of the film. And after they did, Charlie became very cold and rejected him. In fact, when Corey wanted to fool around again, Charlie was not interested. The story also mirrors the shocking tale by Haim's friend Corey Feldman, who wrote in his tell-all memoir that at some point during the filming of Lucas, an adult male convinced Haim it was perfectly normal for older and younger boys in the business to have sexual relations. So they walked off to a secluded area between two trailers during a lunch break. But Feldman never named Sheen in his book. However, a former child actor close to Haim backs those claims and adds that Haim and the Wall Street star actually had sex again, this time when Corey was in his 20s. But he didn't like it, and he was finally over Sheen. The National Enquirer claims to have contacted more than 100 people spread across 10 states about the story, and they say dozens have gone on the record.
This goes way back. It's not a new thing. It goes way back, but I'm gonna let them tell it. I'm gonna let them tell it. It's, they can't say I said it because they're telling it.
All right, Mr. Shields. Isn't this scene supposed to go something like this? I'll make your test for you, and you'll be good to me, and I'll be good to you. Oh.
I think I'm going to like you. That's not important. I think the public will like you. That is important.
Yeah.
I do want the job so that I can't.
Oh, I see. No, you've got me wrong. This is strictly business.
You know, the nice thing about buying food for a man is that you don't have to laugh at his jokes. Just think, if you were some big shot like a casting director or something, I'd be staring into your bridge work saying, "Yes, Mr. Smearcase."
Yes, sir, Brother Chris. Yes, sir. I watched that a few episodes of that series that they had out about Dan Schneider.
No, Mr. Smearcase. Not really, Mr. Smearcase. Oh, Mr. Smearcase, that's my knee.
Yes, I know the type. The minute he meets a girl, he starts feeling her ribs and talking about screen tests.
This couldn't be a diamond bracelet, could it?
Oh, yes, matter of fact, it's engraved to my dear, sweet Sheila. Something I thought of.
How lovely.
But we do understand each other, then, don't we?
Yes, we do, don't we?
Good.
I mean, I'd like to do something for you if you'd do something for me.
You're making it awfully easy for me to do everything, except live up to your expectations.
Oh, we won't expect too much at first.
You want to be a ballet dancer?
Yeah,
You want to be a great ballet dancer?
yeah.
Come to my office, 3 o'clock.
You see that man? That's Max Fabian, the producer. Now go and do yourself some good.
Why do they always look like a nappy rabbit?
This is the casting couch right in our face, hidden in plain sight. They're putting it in the script, the casting couch.
Rabbits.
Because that's what they are. Go and make him happy. All the way back to silent films, they had the casting couch.
What happened?
Well, isn't that more restful?
I thought something blew out.
It does improve the view, doesn't it?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful now, but think of how much more beautiful it will be when your name is flashing across the horizon. Gene Maitland, in letters that big.
That big.
All right, that big.
Gotta be big enough to keep people away.
It'll be big enough. I will be the sculptor and you'll be the clay.
Miss Plum closed both doors.
My, you talk like a producer. But I can scream so you can hear it through more closed doors than this.
Get out of here.
I just want to talk to you 1 minute, Marge.
Oh, get out of here.
Don't you realize that I can make you the biggest star on Broadway?
You can't keep me here. Oh, no, I'm not.
We'll keep you here.
Well, you won't keep me here. You hear me? You won't. Let me go.
I won't let you go.
I won't stay in this house with you another minute. Let me go.
I told you not to come here. Why did you come?
Now, 7 casting couch horror stories from Hollywood is coming up next.
The term casting couch refers to the unethical and often illegal practice where individuals in power positions, usually in the entertainment industry, exploit aspiring actors or other professionals with the promise or implication of career advancement in exchange for sexual favors. Throughout Hollywood's history, there have been many rumors and stories about the casting couch. Here are some accounts and anecdotes that have been publicly discussed. Number 1, Judy Garland remains an iconic figure in Hollywood history. Born Frances Ethel Gum, Garland was thrust into the limelight from a young age. Best remembered as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, her road to fame was not without its share of shadows. MGM Studios, where she signed a contract as a teenager, became a haven of success, but also a place of torment for the young actress. Louis B. Mayer, one of the most powerful figures at MGM, is alleged to have consistently abused his authority. Under the guise of praising her undeniable talent, he would touch her inappropriately, often placing his hands on her chest while complimenting her singing. Such moments provide a stark contrast to the glittering veneer of classic Hollywood, revealing an undercurrent of exploitation. Number 2, Marilyn Monroe, Norma Jean Mortensen, who the world later came to adore as Marilyn Monroe, epitomized the glamorous Hollywood starlet, but her luminous on-screen presence hid personal struggles and encounters with the dark side of the industry. In her candid memoirs, Monroe pulled back the curtain on Hollywood's casting couch, dubbing it its best-kept secret. Early in her career, when she was still finding her footing in the treacherous landscape of Tinseltown, she often had to defend herself against the advances of men who believed they could use their power to extract sexual favors in exchange for career opportunities. Her stories paint a picture of a deeply entrenched system that traded dreams for degradation. Number 3, Shirley Temple. The golden curls and infectious smile of Shirley Temple belied the unsavory experiences she encountered behind the scenes. At the tender age of 12, a shocking incident with an MGM producer thrust her into the murky waters of Hollywood's predatory culture. The producer allegedly exposed himself to her during what should have been a routine meeting. Her instinctual response, a burst of nervous laughter, served as a shield, although it irked the executive. The incident with Temple highlights that age was no barrier for Hollywood's predators, with even the industry's youngest stars being at risk. Number 4, Joan Collins. An actress of immense talent and beauty, Joan Collins's Hollywood journey was marred by an encounter that could have changed the trajectory of her career. As she once revealed, the coveted role of Cleopatra, which eventually went to Elizabeth Taylor, was dangled before her. The price? Yielding to the desires of a studio head, and rumors say the particular executive had a fondness for arranging large and grotesque orgies filled with dwarves, gay men, and the biggest actresses in Hollywood. There are other sick details of debauchery and sexual deviance that we cannot mention on YouTube. Collins's refusal to compromise her dignity over a film role speaks volumes about her character and throws light on the manipulative games played in studio boardrooms. Number 5, Tippi Hedren. Tippi Hedren's collaboration with Alfred Hitchcock, particularly in The Birds, cemented her status as a silver screen legend. But their professional relationship has a dark side. Hedren has spoken out about Hitchcock's incessant and unwanted advances. The director's obsession with Hedren reached alarming levels, and when she rejected him, he made her professional life incredibly challenging. Hitchcock's behavior towards Hedren has become a cautionary tale, illustrating how even cinematic geniuses can harbor deeply problematic behaviors. Number 6, Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney's story serves as a poignant reminder that the casting couch did not exclusively prey upon women. A veritable powerhouse in his heyday, Rooney's memoirs provide a window into an often overlooked aspect of Hollywood's casting couch, its impact on men. He detailed an encounter where he was propositioned by a male MGM executive, revealing that power dynamics, rather than gender, often drove these exploitative interactions. Number 7, Maureen O'Hara. Maureen O'Hara's piercing gaze and captivating screen presence made her one of the most sought-after actresses of her time. However, her integrity off-screen was even more admirable. In a candid 1945 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, O'Hara took a bold step by publicly decrying the casting couch's pervasive culture. Her allegations revealed how her steadfast refusal to partake in the seedy underbelly of Hollywood led to professional repercussions, underscoring the industry-wide implications of standing up to powerful men. In Hollywood's golden age, the casting couch's shadowy presence persisted beneath the glitz and glamour. It was a system where dreams were held ransom, and silence was often the price of stardom. If you've enjoyed this video, we'd be honored if you subscribe to our channel and comment down below.
I'm going to say what Wesley Snipes had to say about what really happened behind the scenes of, I think it was Tu Wan Fu, the movie that he dressed in drag, Patrick Swayze, and other, I mean, New Jack City, not
It's a very interesting dynamic, and we are culturally unfamiliar with dealing with that kind of fame and fortune.
That's another video that I'm going to do, but right now I have the one that he said what really happened behind the scenes of New Jack City.
Fresh blood and early success is a dangerous combo. Many artists have gone through it, and it has left them exposed to the dark sides of the industry. Wesley Snipes is one of them. He has allegedly revealed the hidden secrets behind the sets and what really happened after his blockbuster movie, New Jack City. The actor starred in many hits as the main lead, including his role in Jungle Fever and the globally renowned trilogy of Blade. Wesley gained so much success and stardom that he even managed to start his production company named Amen Ra Films.
Wesley Snipes was making more money than Denzel, quietly. And people did not realize that.
However, the actor thinks that it is quite a complicated task to manage the peak of an artist's career. In an interview, Wesley mentioned, "Fame and fortune is a very peculiar world to exist in, and not very many people know how to manage it or counsel those who come to it at an early age what to do, the do's and the don'ts." Snipes spoke from experience. New Jack City was offered to Wesley in the initial years of his career, which he accepted, and then the movie shoved him off right into the spotlights. He had become a star. He received fame and fortune, and that too very early. The actor explained how celebrities struggle to get some me time for themselves. All of us have our moments where we want to be silent and private and not have to perform, not have to give, not have to answer a question. The actor, 59, told Page Six in a recent interview. Wesley also highlighted how new and early fame can cause disruptions in bonds within families. Not in my family per se, but definitely around me with my friends, he revealed. I've seen it manifest to a greater extent with the friends who are newly crowned and with all the riches now, disposable income. The young prodigy found himself surrounded by pretenders who only cared about Wesley because of his success. They don't understand how many people are in your ear giving you conflicting advice, he explained, and all of them say that they love you. All of them say, I got your best interest at heart. Or they'll tell you, you don't need everybody kissing your A all the time. You need somebody to tell you what's real. Further on, the Expendables 3 actor stated that the public does not understand the nuisance that comes with the stardom. Wesley struggled to handle his new life, and he stumbled. He was exposed to the darker side of the industry, and he couldn't balance himself. Snipes has always been a vocal person. He knew how to stand up for himself and how to make himself heard. This might be one of the reasons for the quick decline of his career. Wesley highlighted the discrimination problem in the industry. It does exist.
See, this is the proof that once you do something, they're not going to leave you alone, even if you do a humiliation ritual or a sexual ritual. They're not going to leave you alone. And he did the humiliation ritual by doing the 2-1-Fu movie, and they still did what they did to him.
And many other celebrities have also raised their voices against it. According to Wesley, Hollywood is a place suitable for white people only, and it is set in a way suitable for them, while the people of color are only chosen for specific roles. The movie industry right off the bat is geared for white actors, Snipes told Jae-ha Kim at the Chicago Sun-Times in 1991. When screenwriters write material, they write with white actors in mind, unless they're black writers like Spike Lee. The only roles available to minorities then are specifically designated as for an African-American man or an Asian woman or whatever. That's the nature of this business. But it really fascinates me that so many films can be made with no non-white people in them. New Jack City gained so much popularity that the producers wanted to create a sequel to it, and reportedly they wanted Wesley to star in it again. However, he refused. I'm not associated with it. I have nothing to do with it at all, Snipes told Brooke Obie of Shadow and Act.
It's very unlikely that I'll be associated with it.
The actor added, I think some things should be left alone if it worked at the time under the circumstances, Snipes said. And the story was built around things that are current. I don't particularly like the idea of recreating the drug culture. For what? I don't know. They actually talked to me about doing it, and I told them no. If I had a dime for every time I've said no, he said. Snipes cements his answer to film execs. It's a done deal. It's a wrap.
There's nobody who can play Nino Brown.
There's no other Nino. I'm not involved.
An incident occurred with Snipes, which highlighted the difficulties faced by the African-American artists in the industry. Back in 1991, the actor was arrested by the police authorities with a charge of driving a stolen car. However, it was later revealed that the listing was incorrect and Snipes was innocent. Wesley disclosed to the media how he had to lay down on the floor with a knee on the neck.
This is what they would do. They would humiliate you. They would harass you. They would arrest you, all the way up to stuffing you out when you get out of the graces of the so-called elites in Hollywood. Like Corey Feldman said, 2 trucks was coming at him at the same time, trying to kill him allegedly because of what he was saying about what goes on in Hollywood.
And pointed a gun at his head. The whole experience was humiliating, Snipes said. If he, Snipes, were Tom Cruise, this would have never happened, claimed actor Blair Underwood. They would have realized it was a mistake right away. Ramona Ripston, executive director of the American Civil Liberties Union.
What millionaire you know who was making more money than Denzel Washington? What millionaire you know is going to drive around in a stolen car? They knew who he was, and it wasn't mixed up. They mixed it up just to put that fear in the brother.
Of Southern California supported that notion, stating in a press conference that because of the criminal profiles used by police in Los Angeles, a black man driving a rental car is an immediate suspect of a crime. So is a black man driving an expensive car, a car with a car phone, or an old rundown car. Wesley faced difficulties performing as...
So that's driving a car, period. We supposed to take the bus and the cab, I guess, huh?
An artist. One of the most renowned works of the actor includes Blade Trinity. However, the shooting of the film was a disaster.
Yes, sir, my brother Chris. I mentioned that earlier when Martin was holding a gun, screaming, "They're trying to kill me." But that's what they say, that when they're trying to kill you, they say you're suicidal. That's what they say.
Wesley's co-star Patton Oswalt informed, Wesley Snipes was just F crazy in a hilarious way. He wouldn't come out of his trailer and he would smoke weed all day. Then I remember one day on the set, they let everyone pick their own clothes. There was one black actor who was also kind of a club kid, and he wore this shirt with the word garbage on it in big stylish letters. It was his shirt. And Wesley came down to the set, which he only did for close-ups. Everything else was done by his stand-in. I only did one scene with him. But he comes on and goes, there's only one other black guy in the movie, and you make him wear a shirt that says garbage? You racist MF. The actor faced the biggest blow of his career when he was arrested for attempting tax evasion. Snipes was sentenced to 3 years in prison. It took his career forever to recover from his prison sentencing. Michael Jai White applauded Wesley, claiming in an interview that he was earning more than many other artists out there, including Denzel Washington. Jai added that he researched and found out that all action movies with casts of color are hits overseas. He believed if Wesley hadn't gone to jail for tax evasion, he would be amongst the biggest names in the industry.
I did my research. And all black action movies make money overseas.
New Jack City deserves all the praise for being a remarkable addition to the crime thriller genre movies. 33 years back, the film catapulted Wesley Snipes, and along with him, other artists of color as actors, writers, and filmmakers. The film became the highest-grossing indie film of 1991, and it re-earned the investment within the opening week. The story of the rise and fall of Nino Brown and the Cash Money Brothers grabbed the viewer's attention. The entry inspired the hip-hop culture in the industry. The movie was adored by the fans and felt more real to them.
Yeah, Black Dynamite is dope. You know what? I'm going to go watch that this evening. Thanks, brother.
As it was based on true events that circulated the New York City drug life epidemic back in the 80s. The film's soundtrack was appreciated globally. Many big names played their part in its success, including Ice-T, Color Me Bad, and Queen Latifah. The enticing soundtracks played a major role in the glorification of the movie. The addition to the crime-themed films is believed to be the turning point in the industry for movies with similar genres. The movie also made a vital social impact as it directed the viewer's attention toward the drug issues and the impact it was having on the communities. The movie was applauded massively, however. A few had mixed feelings as they thought the content in the film glorified the use of drugs in violent culture. To take it, Wesley Snipes has continued to pursue his career in acting. However, he wanted to show his full potential as he took a variety of roles such as that in The Expendables 3. He appeared in non-action films which include 2019's Dolomite Is My Name and 2021's Coming to America. The actor has also pursued other ventures such as exploring the world of sci-fi literature. Wesley co-created the After Dark comic series with Antoine Fuqua. He also did some writing on his own, which includes his 2017 novel Talon of Gold and a comic book series called The Exiled in 2022. For other cast members, their trajectories were more varied. Ice-T decided to start hosting as he agreed to be part of the show Ice Cold Blood, which went on air from 2018 to 2021. He has also continued his career in rap music as he dropped his last album in 2020 and has continued with singles over the years. Alan Payne was also a member of the film's cast. His most recent was for the stage drama of the film where he revived his role as G-Money from the movie. Chris Rock, another cast member, most recently dropped his Netflix special called Selective Outrage and plans on releasing a documentary this year along with Kevin Hart titled Chris Rock and Kevin Hart. Bill Nunn continued his acting career after starring in New Jack City, but unfortunately, he passed away in 2016. The movie gained global recognition and the viewers absolutely adored it. People praised the content and the content creators as one user commented, "Wesley Snipes is just an amazing actor. His best movie yet is New Jack City IMO. Sure, there are many more." The fans also supported Wesley for refusing to do a remake of New Jack City. In the fans' opinion, it was a classic movie, and the situation then, as compared to now, has changed. Pop culture was emerging back then, but now it has already settled. A netizen stated, "I concur with Wesley. There should be no New Jack City reboot ever. If ain't broke, don't fix it." This was all for today. Thanks for watching.
Now we're going to go to the smaller children. Disney on the P word.
Never look at your child.
So ironic how Disney is using subtleties in this cartoon, and the subtleties are being said by a fox. And the fox is known for subtleties, and the fox is known for being sly and sneaky.
Full time child trafficking is going to bring them to Pleasure Island or, you know, Epstein Island. I'm sure there's more than one Epstein Island, that whole concept. But right there, child trafficking. Now,
I want to show you part 2 of this. Pinocchio. Synonymous for lying and being deceitful.
What's he?
Yeah, those blunts do turn some people into jackasses.
A woman found me on the side of the road and brought me to Ivory Coast without telling my parents. I was put to work. One day I had a fight with another young girl and was told that if I cause trouble, I'll be sent away to fend for myself and die like a dog.
But this is how Walt Disney really feel about children. He works with children. His aim is at children, but this is how he really feel about them.
After years of working with them round the clock, Walt Disney was losing his patience with children.
Welcome to Disneyland, the place. So the place where children are, oh my God, please. Anywho. The place where children are given a voice. Will you shut up?
He developed a hatred for kids and was deliberately cruel to them.
You don't fancy looking at me while I'm talking to you, huh? Oh, that's fucking rude. What are you looking at? The castle? That castle was made by Mexicans who I didn't have to pay anything. It's probably gonna fall down on your ass while you're inside it and kill you. No, I'm just kidding. They were Puerto Ricans.
Parents also claimed that he was deliberately scaring children, but he argued that his new characters came with important moral messages.
And here we are with a new character, Skinless Jim. Skinless Jim, I ain't got no skin. Oh no, what are you gonna do about that? Jim said children's skin. Well, that's good of you that you want to share.
Disney was eventually punished for his actions.
So the judges said you can't make any films involving kids for a while.
You're kidding. We just finished animating loads of films. Some of them are full of kids.
Well,
I mean, what the hell are we gonna do about Snow White and the 7 weird-looking toddlers?
Now, we're going to ask the question, do Disney parks hide deaths that happens at the, at the parks?
Disney is for some a world of wonder, joy, and imagination. It's been there for most of us our entire lives, but with nearly 100 years of operation, there have been many claims that suggest a less than wonderful reality that betrays the squeaky clean image that Disney so fiercely protects. In this video, we take a look at some of the most popular claims about the dark side of the House of Mouse. Our first theory is one so bizarre that you might say it gives you chills. But this assertion is less about what Walt Disney did in life, but more so in death, giving a whole new meaning to Disney on Ice. Sometimes the rumor goes so far to denote where Disney's frozen body or head is stored. And one of the most popular suggestions for its current resting place is deep in the heart of Disneyland, under the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. What gives credit to this theory is the company's founder Walt Disney's own very famous reputation as an innovator who was fascinated by the future and making the impossible possible. Walt Disney passed in 1966, but in 1964, a book
Salute, my good brother, Smoke Signal. Thanks for tapping in, family.
Entitled The Prospect of Immortality written by the founder of the cryogenics movement, Robert Edinger, was published, which discussed the premise of cryonics, meaning the idea of cryogenically freezing someone was in the air before Disney's death, and plausible that he was aware of it. Edinger himself was later frozen after his death in 2011, along with 100 other people who hoped for reanimation. According to the PBS News, in the weeks after his death, a tabloid reporter claimed to have snuck into the hospital where Disney was a patient at the time of his death and saw a cryogenic metal cylinder in which he was suspended. There have often been rumors about his impending thawing around certain dates. The most recent projected defrosting was December 2021, as it would have been the 55th anniversary of his death, but it came and went without any remarkable update. Some have gone so far as to claim that the film Frozen was titled as such so that Google results with Disney and Frozen would populate with stuff about the film, pushing the conspiracy theories down in the results. Why Disney would wait until 2013, nearly 47 years after his death, to do so remains unexplained. Whether you believe it or not, the facts remain that according to his death certificate, Walt Disney was cremated 2 days after his death, and his remains were interred in an urn at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. The claims have also been denied by his family, with Walt Disney's own daughter remarking that she doubted her father had even heard of cryonics before his death to begin with. But Walt Disney's passing isn't the only one to garner mystery. Those that subscribe to this next theory suggest that in order to maintain their fun-loving and safe reputation, if someone were to die in a Disney theme park, the staff would work to ensure that they were not actually pronounced dead until they were taken somewhere else. One example of an occurrence like this would be in 1964, when a 15-year-old boy fell out of the toboggan on the Matterhorn ride at Disneyland. He would be found unconscious in the ride, but would die 4 days later at a hospital. However, there are several news stories of tragic deaths that occur on Disney property which specifically state them as dying at the scene, making this one seem unlikely. For example, in 1984, a 48-year-old woman died on the Matterhorn as well. According to witnesses, she was on the track and she was hit by the next toboggan coming through the ride. She would be declared dead at the scene. On Christmas Eve 1998, a man died after a mooring cleat for the Columbia sailing ship became loose and hit him. In 2003, a 22-year-old man died on the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride when the train car derailed after breaking free from the locomotive while inside a tunnel. 10 other passengers were injured, but he reportedly died on the scene. There doesn't seem to be any sort of cover-up, as the president of Disneyland Resort at the time, Cynthia Harris, made a statement acknowledging the accident and expressing condolences. And finally, one of the most infamous deaths at a Disney park was that of Deborah Stone on July 8, 1974. Deborah Stone was a cast member and worked for the now-defunct America Sings attraction at Disneyland. The attraction utilized a merry-go-round-like system in which 6 theaters rotated around a central stage with various scenes. As a hostess in the attraction, Stone was to stand to the left side of the stage and welcome guests to the show, and when the 24-minute show ended, she'd bid them farewell. Unfortunately, one night, Stone became trapped between a stationary wall and a moving wall. She was crushed to death, and it's reported that a guest heard screaming coming from the walls. The LA Times article announcing her death noted that she was the first employee death in the park's history. Though, since Stone's death, a contracted employee later died in the hospital after an accident at the resort. Probably due to its historic and horrific nature, there are urban legends that say Stone haunts the area where she was killed and can be heard warning people to be careful. While incredibly unfortunate, this list of accidents goes to show that this rumor is far from true. As for what's actually listed on someone's death certificate as place of death, that I don't know. But I doubt it reads, the happiest place on earth. Walt Disney was a powerful figure. Whether it was creative, corporate, or political, his influence knew few limits, making him the target of all sorts of interest and suspicions. This next theory suggests that while a master storyteller, he was also known to sing like a bird. The theory states that Walt Disney served as a secret informant.
Going to move on from that video to another video about Walt Disney, the history and their lax attitude towards allegedly child exploitation and sex abuse.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the podcast. So, guess over the weekend, late last week, Bella Thorne was talking about how she was molested for a long time and that everybody at Disney knew about it but didn't do anything about it. Even though she says that she had said previously that it wasn't a Disney employee. But it got me to thinking. And I kind of rearranged things because I thought it was topical. And it got me to think about just all of Walt Disney and the legacy that he kind of instilled. And when you go to Disneyland, you know, it's this happy, joyful kind of place that it presents on the outside, right? And when I was...
They're also racist towards our children. The so-called characters, they ignore our children and they act mean towards our children. That's another one of Disney's legacies. They act mean towards black children.
I was thinking about how to go about it. I said, well, you know, it has this happiest place on earth kind of thing. But how did it get to that? What about Bella and her situation at Disney? Is that common? Does it come from a root cause of everything that goes on at Disney? So thanks to the illustrious John Doe, I thought I'd talk about a couple of things that he found. And then kind of transition that into more of a Walt Disney rather than a Disney Corporation thing, just to kind of get a sense. Because I think everybody has this feeling about Walt Disney, the person, that he must have also been this happy kind of guy because he created all these cartoons and everything. But the thing is there is a huge void.
If we knew how they created these cartoons and what they drew first. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let this play while I find that video of how they create and how Walt Disney created his cartoons, since this guy said he's such a happy-go-lucky guy.
And a lot of the history of Disney, much like the sanitization of the parks, there's also the sanitization of the history of not only its founder, but also a lot of the things that he created, a lot of the things that I think the modern Disney Corporation wishes didn't exist. But one of the things that John Doe found in his research is that in 2014, CNN reported that at least 35 Disney employees have been arrested since 2006 and accused of sex crimes involving children, trying to meet a minor for sex or for possession of child porn. And there was 32 convictions. In May 2019, a Disney World employee was arrested for attempting to sexually abuse an 8-year-old. And then last week, another Disney World employee was arrested after police raided his home and found child sex abuse videos and photos. It's not just, as John found out, not just lower level employees. A former Disney vice president was sentenced to 7 years in prison for sexually abusing a 7-year-old girl. And in December 2017, Disney's head of music publishing was arrested for sexually abusing 2 underage girls. That resulted in a mistrial. So a retrial is happening again pretty much as we speak. I mean, this was John Healy. He was the head of Disney Music Group. This would have been the same music group that a lot of the Disney stars would have recorded under. It would have been anything to do with High School Musical and albums and things like that. Disney Music Group deals with a lot of tweens and teens. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Auntie, you know, Disney is a very, very large company. Every large company, if they have 50,000 people, 100,000 people, however many Disney have.
This dude here is making me yawn. So I'm going to go to Jaguar Wright for 40 seconds and then to this video that I was referring to about how the cartoons are drawn.
How are these people able to keep going on with the career?
What do you mean?
Doing these heinous crimes.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm just saying.
You ain't never had a boy that you know did a whole bunch of dirt and you let him make it? You telling me that never happened? You never had somebody in your life who you know was dirty, who you know did dirt, and you let him make it?
I see what you're saying, but
think about that on a corporate level.
Right.
R. Kelly was the first corporately sponsored pedophile in the United States. Everybody knew. That's why I couldn't really watch that documentary, because half of the people that was in there, I can't believe he did it. You used to go get the bitch too. I watched you, dog.
Now, this is how many Disney cartoons start off. They start off like this. Respect to Lady Shay. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate it.
O que eu te ensinei é muito bom, mas não é matéria de vestibular.
This is going to conclude this stream. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope it was informative and enlightening. I know some of my brothers and my sisters are familiar with this, yet I just had to present it because I was doing my research, and I've been did this research, but I wanted to present this information to the family. Yet before I go, I want to do a quick promotion before I go.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
The once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise.
I want to thank everyone for joining me this evening, hanging out with the brother for a little while. I want to thank, I know you're watching, dear, my wife. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't gotten my wife's book, Fire, the information, the link is pinned in the chat. Very good read. Just click on the link, go to Amazon. You can get it on paperback or Kindle. It's called Fire, and the book is Fire. I want to thank Lady Shea Butter. Thanks for tapping in. My brother, Kyrie, we're going to be doing some things in the near future. My brother, Kyrie, of the Enemies Public, thanks for tapping in. Nora Party, thanks for tapping in, sis. My good brother, Chris Cyphers, TSL, thanks for tapping in. My good brother, Smoke Signal, thank you for tapping in. My brother, Hurricane JW, thank you for tapping in. My brother, Bronze Flat Power God, avid supporter of Bro.Nasir and the Enemies Public, thanks for tapping in. Sister Sharon Walker, thank you for tapping in. Let me go all the way up. Have to go all the way up and make sure I don't miss anyone who came through to hang out with the brother. Appreciate you all for tapping in. Let me scroll up. Thanks for Stephanie Burke. Thank you for tapping in. Amber Angels Truth. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you all, and more content is coming, and I got some special surprises that's coming up in the near future. This is your brother Nasir of the Enemies Public. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment in the comment section. Until next time, peace.